This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Yo! Paul Catalina here. That was a little FM disc jockey. I'm sorry, Garrett. I apologize to our audience.
Okay.
Unless they want me to do the full show in character of like, hey, you're listening to Biscuit and Gravy in the morning. Biscuit here. I'm going to Gravy. Did you hear the big news about Prince Harry this weekend, huh?
What happened to Prince Harry?
Yeah, that's the trouble in paradise. You know how it is being married. No, but it was another weekend in college football where a bunch of things happened we did not expect to happen.
Yep.
And I believe that we are seeing what is the new normal. Because there are going to be teams that are pinnacle, head and shoulders above everybody.
Correct.
Right now, it looks like Texas
Georgia
is one of those teams. Georgia is one of those teams. Ohio State is one of those teams. Alabama might be. I don't know yet. We'll
find out this weekend. I think we'll find out this weekend about Bama.
But I do think like Tennessee might be. My gosh, they're fantastic. And a lot of weird stuff happened from Kansas State not only getting beaten by BYU, that I can wrap my head around. Upsets happen all the time. But getting blown out by the Cougs.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Or the Cougars. I'm sorry, Houston's the Cougs.
Yes.
I don't know, but yeah.
I'm still struggling to make out what BYU is. Because, like, the only game I've really watched them play this year was the SMU game. And then coming out of that, I was like, okay, well, neither one of these teams are really good. Then SMU goes and obliterates TCU this weekend. It's like, what the hell is happening here?
You know what I saw last week from BYU is a little bit of Frank Beamer ball.
Okay.
Where you return a punt,
Well, they did that again against K-State, yeah.
You create turnovers. The punt return was bananas. It was it was already like it looked like okay, this is where maybe if Kansas 24-9, if Kansas State can flip the field here, get a stop, they get a touchdown, they can get back into this thing. And then just a crazy play happens, and that was the kill shot.
Right.
That was it. That was, that was the old Yeller, just right there for Kansas State. UCF might have broken TCU. Certainly broke Sonny Dykes, who got 30 yards of penalties. He got kicked out of a game, something I am absolutely positive I've never seen personally.
Like, for that to be in SMU, like that was the most horrific situation if you're TCU. I felt so bad I just kept thinking of Semi through that whole thing about how bad that was going to be for him. But yeah, man, it's crazy to see that. And, that's one of those where when you look at that rivalry, I feel like it's always meant more to SMU, because they've always had like the little brother syndrome towards TCU. And, we talked about the CW leading into it and everything. And, man, the ponies came out with a mission, and TCU was still reeling. And I don't know if they know who they are right now. I don't know. I think TCU's having an identity crisis.
I think they very, very, very much saw that. And it's – my opinion has changed on TCU through 4 games 3 times.
Right, yeah.
I thought against Stanford they looked a little wonky. Stanford went and got a nice little win. Stanford's well coached. I don't know how talented they are.
Their quarterback,
but they're well coached. Yeah,
their quarterback and that receiver are pretty legit. Yeah.
But as far as like overall depth and talent, like that, I don't know. But they're very well coached, which is why they hired. Who they hired, because that's what he did was coach teams well, and then. TCU, I thought, okay, well, that was sloppy, but they got it together. They beat Long Island like they should have beat Long Island. Then they turn around against UCF and play a stellar first half. Second half, wheels come off to the point that they lose the game. And then they never put the wheels back on against SMU. I mean, it's just frustrating. And Sonny Dykes is Here's the funny thing about Sonny. I know that most of you out there watching this show have not met Sonny Dykes.
Super cool guy.
We have on many occasions. He's on this show all the time. He is one of the friendliest coaches I've met. I think that exists between other coaches and Sonny Dykes. I think that relationship exists between fans and Sonny Dykes, the media and Sonny Dykes. That relationship exists for Sonny Dykes for everybody on planet Earth except the less than 1% of people who are football officials.
Fair.
In that regard, Sonny Dykes
is the devil.
No, he does not. He does not care for them. No. You know, like I thought, like because I'd never really watched a whole lot of his games before he got to TCU or SMU, and then before he got to SMU, and then even more now that he's been at TCU, especially a couple years ago when they were so great. You know, they were kind of appointment television. I remember watching one game and being like, man, that guy. I mean, I talked to him at SMU. Like, I interviewed him 10 times before I watched this game, and I was like, God, he really gets after those refs.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, a coach that gets after the refs like that really talks to everybody in their life like that.
Correct. Yeah.
I will not name names, but I know like
you've had experience.
I've had experience from high school, college, pros on down, like little league, whatever it is. Like if you talk to officials like that, you usually talk to everyone at least a little bit like that.
Correct.
You kind of have a I'm right and you're wrong about everything. That is not Sonny Dykes.
No.
He reserves it. He reserves it solely for the officials. Absolutely 100% for the officials. Everyone else in the world, he's great. And I mean, he's got this great sense of humor and he's very calming to talk to. Like he's a very chill guy
very laid
normally.
back, man. Very laid back, easygoing.
Like here's my quick impression. Sonny Dykes, sans headset. Hey man, hey, how you doing? Hey, sit down, have a cup of coffee. You know what?
Yeah.
Really love talking to you guys. Sonny Dykes with the headset on. Like that's the thing. He puts it on, and then he becomes like someone else.
It's funny that you say that because during the old system, when I had the graphics made, the one I had for Sonny Dykes was the perfect one of him just laying into an official.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
You know, and here's the thing. The reason Max Duggan got better was because Sonny Dykes, when it comes to his players, and I thought this, Gary Patterson's a man who, when he is on one, is really on.
You don't know. Yeah.
And I think Max Duggan is, hippies call it an empath, you know, where you take in all the emotions around you at once. I don't know what the actual medical term is, but believe me, I've been in the acting and comedy and theater world enough to meet people here's the thing, many times they're right. Like they'll walk up to you and go like, I can see that you're like feeling stressed tonight. You're like, you know what? I am feeling stressed tonight. And the people who use crystals think it's some sort of magical power. I just think some people have that kind of intuition to them. Like they just have that natural ability to see what people's emotions are, or they're trained enough throughout experience of their life, you know. And when I say trained, I just mean
life experiences.
They're observant, and then they're able to be compassionate and empathetic to whatever you're going through. I think Max Duggan might be that kind of guy, but doesn't know, like he just absorbs it and didn't know how to deal with it. Because he was a young kid, right? He was young, he was immature. So when Max Duggan was the quarterback and Gary Patterson is freaking out about every little thing, like I think Max Duggan really took that in. And then when Sonny Dykes came, what Sonny Dykes did was quiet his mind and was like, hey, everything's going to be okay. Like, it's fine. Go out there and have fun, grip it and rip it. Like, we're going to have a blast. And when that happened and that switch flipped in Max Duggan, he was one of the best players in the country. You know, he was one of the most fun college quarterbacks I've seen in the last few years. Like, just super fun to watch, enthusiastic. But, again, you watch Sonny Dykes, like, flip out on the refs the other day. Well, that's not the same thing he would do to Max Duggan, but it was something else.
It was.
It was something else. It was absolutely something else. And so TCU needs to go to the shop because whatever happened at the UCF game has amplified itself, and things don't get any easier.
No.
Michigan, here's Michigan's offense. You either get a big running play or you get nothing. Nothing. They beat USC with like 29 yards passing or something ridiculous like that. USC, like, I think just got a little bit, when those big plays happened, got a little bit off their axis. Obviously, yes, there are things like, look, they were in the big house. That's an intimidating place to play. Michigan got the momentum early and didn't really let it go until the end. And then again, USC gave up big running play.
Well, I think that was the first time that their defensive line this season has actually been tested and pushed around like that. Like, if you go back and look at the game with LSU, LSU's offensive line was talked about like they would come out there and do that. They just haven't lived up to that all season long, and they didn't do anything against USC. And then the next couple of games, they just weren't tested, and you get into this matchup, that's a different animal, man. And you're going into the big house. Sharon Moore played that position. He knows it. So, I mean, you were going to get the best from them. But I think overall, Miller Moss still had a really good game. I think it really just came down to the first half of that defense getting punched in the mouth and not being able to kind of balance themselves in it. But that was a fun game till the end. And, USC still had found themselves in a position to get it done. They just weren't able to. But hats off to Michigan for taking care of business and getting a nice win at home, which was much needed after Texas went in there and kind of embarrassed them.
Yeah. There's something else I need to address when it comes to Michigan football, and this is very important. Their running back that is not Donovan Edwards. The other one that made the big runs is Kalel Mullings. Mm-hmm. His name is spelled Kalel. Now, I don't know this to be a fact, and I have yet to Google it. But when I saw his name pop up on the screen, there is one most important person in American lore named Kal-El, and it is Superman. So big up to his parents for naming your kid Superman, but not naming your kid Superman. I don't know if they came up with or if it's it's an actual name that means something else.
Right.
I just know that when I see Kal-El, that's Clark Kent, baby.
See, and
that is Clark Kent's Kryptonian name, and everyone should have known that. When you've got Kal-El on the other side, you're not to be effed with. Okay?
I do not know too much about Superman, so you just taught me something today.
Yes.
I just learned Superman's real name, Kal-El.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm looking up his bio right now to see if he's a graduate student, by the way.
Okay.
Which, listen, Superman, totally a graduate student. Although I don't know that's how it played out.
Right.
Honors and rankings, personal, Kalisha and Dale, Stephen M. Ross School of Business. Okay, that doesn't help me.
It's not checking.
Yeah, Kalisha and Dale, that doesn't help me out here. Hold on. Let's see Wikipedia now. Let's see.
Doing the deep dive.
Yeah, he's from West Roxbury, Massachusetts. Nothing. I'm determined to find this out. If these two people now, I'm also willing to bet. Not that Kalisha may not be a fan of Superman,
right?
But Dale probably is. This is my theory. And they said they saw the name Kal-El, and they're like, "Ooh, that's a good name. It is a really good name."
This sounds like a case.
And then Dale was like, or they're going through names. And he's like, "What about Kal-El? K-L-E-E-L." And then she's like, "Oh, I really like that. Where'd you come up with that?" He's like, I don't know. I mean, it's just here. And then, Burst of it comes, and here's little Kal-El. And then he's just like, ha, 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 I got one.
I think this is a case that Angelique Shingelis needs to get on.
Oh,
you need to hit her up and have her investigative
and say,
journalist.
Look, this is going to be an out of nowhere
yes.
question.
I want to know. I'm invested now.
Yes. His name is Kal-El. And it could be Kal-El. Nobody's going to say Kal-El. Well, you might say Kal-El.
Right.
I don't know. I might name my next dog Kal-El. I'm not sure. It might be Burt Reynolds. We're not we're still open and we're still in negotiations, which are going, I'll just tell you dog-wise, next to nowhere.
Damn. I thought Tigger was the one, man.
I thought so too. Here's the thing. She won't come in here on those days. I've invited her in a couple of Thursdays. Now, granted, she was in the Bahamas last week, which even is a better one. But, like, I think if she had been here, that might have helped my case.
All right, we're going to have to work that up. We're going to have to figure that out, sneak it in here somehow.
Yeah, Emery was here. He saw it. Amanda just has not melted her heart on that one. But I want to get down to business on this and figure out if it is in fact so. Yeah. Dustin Archamber reminds me that term is empathic or an empath. So I don't know if it's like a thing, but there are people like I have a friend named Kami who very much is that way. Like
my wife's like that. Very empathetic. Very, she is very much.
Yeah. Now I've met some other people who say that they are, and then they're like, here, take this crystal. And I'm like, okay, no. rub this on the back of your neck and whisper to the moon goddess, and she will like, no. We're not doing that. This is just a rock. That's all it is. It doesn't hold.
It looks pretty.
Magical powers. It's just a rock. And also, Scam Artist of the Year award, 1966. Whoever came up with
the
crystals have magical powers. Like that person certainly was. Other things that happened, Utah and Oklahoma State looking from the outside looks like a closer game at 22-19. And Oklahoma State certainly did put forth a nice effort in the fourth quarter to, with less than 2 minutes left, cut that down to 22-19. But for the majority of that game, and this is why Oklahoma State, I think, dropped so many spots. If you saw what Utah was doing to them without their starting quarterback and physically mauling them, and Alan Bowman was like just completely shut down for the most part.
And
they put Garrett Rangel in for a series or so.
Dude.
And that was
not good.
He was not ready. He was not ready. And Ollie Gordon, for the most part, contained. He had a long 11 carries, 42 yards. Oklahoma State's not going to win games when Ollie Gordon only has 42 yards.
No.
And Alan Bowman, 16 of 33, 206, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Garrett Rangel was 3 of 11 for 31 yards. So, look, as a person who sees the benefit sometimes in sitting your starting quarterback down, even though 1 in 3, baby, I really appreciate Mike Gundy having the balls to just go, hey, look, we're going to just let him run out here. You get reset. And then when Alan Bowman came back in, he played better. So sometimes it's good to sit a guy down and go, you know, it's not going your way. We're going to let the other guy try. And then you watch the other guy go out there and go 3 of 11 and go, okay, I'm back in my headspace. So I've simultaneously like knocked Alan Bowman's performance and then given him credit. So calm down, Oklahoma State fans. But
he's just not that dude, man. Like this is like,
I mean, this is what you're getting. Like, he's bus driver plus.
Exactly.
Like he can do some things, but mostly he's a bus driver. And that's fine when the rest of the bus is running, but when you've got a couple of flat tires, namely your running game and your defense, which has not been good.
No.
When you've got those things running, the whole like Alan Bowman's a guy you want driving the bus, and he's one of the better bus drivers, right? He can sit there and drive the bus and go, and this you see how I'm driving it, like the wheels like this. Yeah. That's an accurate, what we call accurate pantomiming in the acting world. You know, I'm not doing this. You don't drive a bus like this. You know, that's how you drive a Honda Civic, right? Actually, this is probably how you drive a Honda Civic. You know, this is how you drive like a big truck. This is how most people. This is how most people drive. But you know, you're driving the bus. It's great, and then all of a sudden, bad things start happening. Well, you know, even the best bus driver is gonna be some that, because again, they're driving a bus. They're not flying an F-16.
Right.
You know, so, but I, yeah, and then.
Were you surprised to see the success? And it wasn't much. I mean, it wasn't like either one of these teams were really lighting things up, but like that Wilson was able to have on that defense.
You know, yes, a little bit, but the guy was Mr. Utah football.
No, I know that.
And so that was better than the other guy. Like, he comes in more highly touted. So athletically, he can do some things that their backup quarterbacks last year just couldn't do, They had the kid that was a farmer.
Right, yeah.
Who I really liked.
Farmer.
I mean, the gritty, what?
Our pig farmer.
Yeah, pig farmer. And then was it Johnson, Nate Johnson, who was the really, really athletic, but again, probably not cut out for the Pac-12 or the Big 12. But still good college athletes, just not, able to quarterback you to a conference title. Isaac Wilson's an upgrade above that. And I actually think watching that there's potentially a really bright future for him and the Utes there. Okay. Who have we missed? Oh,
Baylor, Colorado.
Oh, yeah. That's a thing that happened. Yeah. That is a gut punch of a loss for Baylor. One, if I were Dave Aranda, I share the feelings of everyone on the internet. Taylor McCarg sent me and Smokey text about.
I saw Taylor's tweet. Yeah. I got it ready for the main show.
Yeah.
I got it ready.
Yeah, he tweeted that and then immediately texted me and Smokey. And then to say, we were in Victory Cigar, I would have taken that info to my grave.
Yeah, I would not have let that one get out.
But what did we say all week long about Baylor? If Baylor can make this game about the fundamentals, they'll win the game. Mm-hmm. And they did that until that last play. They did that until that last play. Because if you look at everything that Colorado did well, it had to do with the fact that they have, who I believe is the best quarterback in the country right now.
Shedeur?
I think Shedeur is the best, most overall talented quarterback in the country.
I think he's up there, but I don't think he's the best. I put him in the top 5.
I think he can do things that most of the rest of them can't. I don't think he's playing in the best system.
Oh, no. He's got a disservice to him. He's got a disservice to him.
Yes. I think that they are I think that overall offensive malpractice happens on every other snap at Colorado. Mm-hmm. It's just not right, and he makes things so much better.
And I think I was glad to see him use his legs, because he typically doesn't want to do that. Baylor forced him into it, and he could do some damage.
Well, look, the two big plays on that last drive were, they were in prevent, and then he ran for 20-something yards,
ate him up,
and got him into the position where he could reasonably make that throw, which that throw was unbelievable that he hauled off. Baylor was in the very wrong protection for it. It was, I don't know what was going on. The pass rush was all off. Everything was bad. Everything was bad there. But the difference between Baylor and Colorado is Colorado has those guys. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of the Army ants, but they've got those guys. Colorado's defense is getting a little bit better. But Baylor still gashed them at times. And it's just not something that's going to be they might be fundamentally better throughout the year as they start to learn the system a little bit and get maybe better at some of the little things.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a strength of theirs. They're going to have to win games like this most of the time, which is how they won games last year, which is how most of their games go. They're close.
Yeah.
Because they've got athletes to go and make plays. They can't really blow anybody out, or they can't control the game because you're not very physical.
Right.
Right.
I think from Baylor's perspective, though, there's a lot to be there's a lot of positives to take out of that. Mm-hmm. It took a literal miracle from star players to beat you. I think if you look at the offense with Sawyer Robertson, they were able to create some big plays that personally I don't think we've seen around here in about 3 years. The layout by Monterey Baldwin is probably the best catch I've seen made by a Baylor player since Denzel Mims against Oklahoma State and that one-handed grab on homecoming. There were some plays that were made. There's a lot of promise there for Baylor. It's just, can you – and when you look at their schedule, there's a lot of games that they could still go and win. I think they can make a bowl game. But, man, that was just a brutal gut punch the way that thing ended.
Yeah. And then the way that, for Dominic Richardson but it was, look, and here's the thing. This is the difference between that dude, being that dude, they had two instances on either side of that of being that dude. One, Shedeur Sanders was that dude when he threw that pass.
Yep.
Yes, Baylor set it up for it, but it was still a magical throw. And LeJontay Wester, a guy who will not
catch.
He'll fall in like behind, but he's someone who I'd want on my team. He's really good receiver. He can return punts. He can do a lot of things. He had like 119 catches, something ridiculous at FAU last year. So he's someone that, that's their third wide receiver or fourth wide receiver in that group behind Hunter and Horn and
Shepard.
Shepard.
You could rotate. You pick whichever
Look, and had Shepard caught that pass on the 2-yard line or whatever it was, like right before, the game's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, you would have much rather had that one than what happened right after.
Yeah.
But it's that dude versus the teams that don't have that dude. And in the moment, the two moments in the game where Colorado needed that dude, on offense they got Shedeur, and then at the 1-yard line, one thing I'll say about Travis Hunter compared to his mentor is
he'll hit.
Deion Sanders was not well known for mixing it up.
No, he did not like contact.
He was not, and he really made no bones about it.
No,
he really made no bones about it. And again, I respect him for at least admitting, like not pretending like he was Carnell Lake, or Ronnie Lott. Just went like, look, and I've seen, like, I remember Deion with the Cowboys. They ran him on a corner blitz and he made a sack. And I think it was one because he was just so fast. But also the quarterback was like, is Deion really going to? Yes.
He going to do this?
He just tackled me. What do you know about that? Like that's a trick play on defense. You can't really run many trick plays on defense. But that was a trick play on defense. But he will mix it up. And he got in there and knocked that ball out. And, I watched Travis Hunter, and it physically makes me sick to my stomach how good he is.
He's so fun, man.
And the reason it does is because until Deion Sanders decided he wanted to be a coach, like you haven't conquered enough stuff in your life, Travis Hunter was going to go to Florida State like his idol Deion Sanders.
But he
No. Now we've got a coach. Yeah. Now we have to do this. And Deion has positively affected the lives, I'm sure, of people around him by his coaching. I'm not saying that he hasn't. What I'm saying is it has negatively affected my life, in particular directly, and so I'm going to be mad about it.
Do you feel any better today coming off a win?
Yes.
Okay. I just
I'm
got to
going
check
to
on
see
you.
them in Dallas this weekend. I don't have to see an 0-4 team. I got to see the defense play tough again. Yeah. So here's the best news coming off of Florida State's week. It's not the win. It's that they showed they have one problem. I mean, they have other problems, but they have one problem.
One major problem.
That they have not solved yet. They might have figured out the defensive thing yet a little bit. It looked a lot like the Louisville game, to be quite honest with you. Which, again, I'm fine winning games that way if the thing is winning games that way. That's fine, but they have one problem, and the thing is that he threw the perfect touchdown pass to win the game. So what I'm worried about is the enabler that is out there is going to go, see, he can do that. It's okay, look, but it's the other ones that don't happen, or how long he takes with the ball waiting for – he doesn't throw people open.
No.
He doesn't throw people open. He waits for them to be open and then throws. So that's the difference. But yes, Clint, Cal missed field goals. FSU lucked out. Okay. Hater.
Oh, I love it.
People miss field goals, all right? Cal missed field goals because they have a bad kicker. That's not luck, all right? Okay.
Like, you know a thing or two about missed field goals.
I know. I know a thing or two. Believe me, hater. Just a hater. FSU did nothing to Oregon State. Nothing. In fact, you sent your cancer to us. You should be apologizing to me.
It's your fault, Clint.
Clint Moses should write me an apology letter every day until DJU is benched. Bottom line. Him and Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith for conning people into thinking that this was tenable. Those two people should write me an apology letter every single day until DJU is not the quarterback anymore. You hear me, Clint? You hear me? Sorry I had to get like that.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like, Jonathan Smith didn't even look at DJU in the portal. He's like, no, you're not coming here.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. I want an apology letter. I want some, crumble cookies or something.
Damn crumble cookies.
Maybe a fruit basket. I don't know. The address here is 101 Elm, Suite A.
Make it happen.
76704. We're here most of the day during normal delivery hours.
Yes.
Garrett, one other thing we have to get through for the Kansas State BYU game is the burrito.
Yeah. Why do people keep doing this? Did people not learn a lesson after the cup with Florida State? Why do we keep resorting to saying we're going to do things, whether it's in putting them in our bodies in some way or another?
So, look, if you've got children in the room, this is maybe the time to send them away. Saint Bill Snyder on Twitter said, if K-State loses to BYU, I'll shove a beefy 5-layer burrito up my ass. Mm-hmm. BYU football. BYU, the official account, check mark.
Yes.
Gold check mark, not just a blue. Not just like me. It's a blue check mark, run-of-the-mill Jamoke.
We're
right?
Official.
Yeah. A gold check mark, BYU football. Tweets back, Liv Moss.
I love it. I love that so much from BYU. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. Good for, not your grandfather's LDS right here.
I'm all for it.
You talk noise, we're going to talk noise right back.
It was probably
and here's the thing. In the most Mormon polite way possible. Just quoting a popular television commercial. Liv Moss. The slogan of Taco Bell.
all you got to do.
Yeah.
Did you see the video the man put out?
St. Bill Snyder?
Yes.
I did not.
So he's got a burrito laying on top of the American flag, and he's got this music playing, and he's building up to it, and he comes up out of the background with a Taco Bell bag on his head and puts the date and time and says, "We are going to do this." So,
hey, you know
power
what?
to you, brother.
Yeah, good to you.
Enjoy that.
I am. Here's the thing. I'm curious of the logistics and the physics of this. Not because I get my jollies in such a fashion. Mm-hmm. I just know that as a person who will now never eat a beefy 5-layer burrito again, knows that it's not something that. It's very squishy.
Yeah.
I mean, so unless he freezes
that's your
it,
first problem.
Like, I don't, and like, what constitutes, that's what I'm curious about.
Like, is it the whole burrito? Is it like
just
a tomato?
Just the tip of the burrito? I don't
Just
know. I'm concerned. By the way, I'm telling you right now at Rogue Media, clip this segment. Clip it. You hear me, Opus Clip? The robot that does this? Dear Opus Clip, clip this segment. Clip it. Clip it.
So, how do you even play that? Like, what do you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing about the Florida State guy who wanted to eat the dog crap or said he would and then didn't, and has such maybe put us in a curse.
Yes.
Much like Babe Ruth and the piano. Have you heard about that one?
I've heard of. I don't know about the piano. Did they sink the piano or something?
So yeah, he sunk a piano.
Yeah.
Like they pushed a piano out on the ice.
Yeah.
And then promptly Babe Ruth got traded for no net.
Right.
And by Harry Frazee, whose name I just had to say. And then a group of Boston fans got together and paid to have the piano exhumed from the lake that it was in to hopefully help break the curse of the Bambino.
Did not work.
I have a feeling, but he just said he would eat dog crap out of a red Solo cup. Like, he didn't say how much.
Yeah.
Because you could take like a little speck of it, mix it into like a blizzard, and then just go, right?
I mean, I guess.
Take your lump. It's surrounded by ice cream and Butterfinger.
Just hope for the best.
And just hope for the best. Like, I mean, so, but this guy apparently is putting the burrito, like, good for you, St. Bill Snyder. Don't leave your team in that kind of a thing.
No.
But good luck hosing that off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Erica says, people stop with the gross nonsense. It deserves curses. I agree with you. Stop it.
Please.
Stop it. Don't look.
It's the attention.
The Cubs were cursed for 100 years because they wouldn't let a goat in the stadium. Let the goat in. Don't tempt the sports gods.
Right.
They're an angry, finicky group of gods, like the Greek or Roman gods.
Yes.
Who had very human frailties. I like when we figured this, monotheism out. We figured out that maybe like the guy who's omnipotent who created everything doesn't just fly off the handle for no reason. The primitive people thought like, oh, well, they're just like us, but magic.
Not quite.
That was their thing. Totally like us, but magical. That's what they are. They're us with magical powers. When we come back, let's run through some of the other things this week. Like Mac Brown almost retired after getting bludgeoned by JMU. I think this is the first, kind of indication that North Carolina is going to have a different coach. This is 365 Sports.
This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome back. By the way, Garrett, Pick'em winner this week.
Who we got?
Chris Jenkins.
Congrats, Chris.
Chris is a Longhorn fan. He went 11-0.
Damn.
We had several people go 11,
I think I went 6-4.
Oh, sorry, no, wait. That's not what it was. Never mind. Hold on. I have to look to each person's week. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Because I know TCU let me down.
Yeah. I am, okay, never mind. Okay, he is, Craig, by the way, for us, Craig is now leading at 29-11.
That checks.
Jack is 27-13. I am 25-15. Smokey is 25-15. You are 23-17.
Coming back, man.
And
I think Emory's like, what, 19?
Emory's just not on the board.
Yeah, not a good week for me.
Dang, come on, Emory.
Yeah. So no. But no, Craig's done well.
Yes.
Craig's done very well. Hold on, let me see what he did this week. Craig was 8-2 this week. SC and TCU were his losses.
Yeah, those were both mine. Two of mine.
Jack, Georgia Tech, and SC. Let's see. You, SC, OSU, TCU, Baylor.
Yeah.
Hold on. Did Jack also pick Baylor? Yes, Jack also picked Baylor. Smokies losses SC, OSU, TCU. Hold on. I can sort these alphabetically. That'd be a lot easier. Mine, I missed 4 this week. I missed Kansas, I missed SC, I missed TCU, and I missed Baylor.
Yeah, dude, Jalen Daniels is a mess right now.
I think Jeff Grimes is not long.
We know that.
I think that's not long before they change that.
No. But yeah, they can't do anything. He looks like a shell of himself. Like that whole offense is. I mean, and you kind of knew that with Kolonicki leaving, but the fall off that we've seen is just surprising, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's completely on Jalen Daniels. I think that part of it is just they've got like there's maybe a culture issue. Like he does look like a guy who's really rusty and then is now playing in a slightly different offense, and it's just not.
Well, outside of Grimm, like he really doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to.
Arnold's not bad. I mean,
He's
like
not bad, but
they've got guys that they liked, and I think part of it also was not building the game around the running backs early.
Right,
like
that's been a mistake.
Like now they were doing that, but defensively, like right at the end, Garrett Green did Garrett Green things, and I think he might be one of the more frustrating players for a fan base ever because he has games where you're like, what are you doing? And then he has a fourth quarter like he did the other day where he was just a super athlete.
And that's how he's been the whole time, though.
Running around, so.
I thought he would be more consistent with it this year. And after watching that Penn State game, I was like, okay, this is the same old Garrett Green. It's just kind of been the same with it, man. But
yeah. So, I don't know. But the Big 12, here's my thoughts on the Big 12 in general. I wonder.
I don't think they have a playoff team. Personally.
I mean, they have a team that's going to be in the playoff,
but
I don't know how they have a team that can win a playoff game right now.
Right, that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they have a team. So.
But like looking at it, like I know a lot of people complain about it being SEC heavy or everything, but I think if you realistically look, like it's a separation. The teams that are there for a reason. And looking at the Big 12, like if you have, I don't know, because I think it's really gonna come down to that Iowa State game with Utah. What's that? November 23rd, October 23rd.
Yeah,
that's going to be an important one. And then if UCF can keep rolling, but yeah, that's about your only hope. But I don't think anybody can really make a run in it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's. I haven't seen, like, I think this is a really good league, and it's very evenly matched league.
It's fun.
Clearly.
It's the best, most competitive for fun.
Yeah, it's the most competitive. The ACC is very similar. Mm-hmm. They're both very similar in this regard. By the way, Clemson's good. Clemson's good again.
That was very Oregon last year.
Now,
you remember how Georgia did Oregon? That's
now,
the same thing.
They have played two very bad defenses, but what I saw this week against NC State was – Garrett Riley's calling Garrett Riley's offense, and he's not calling Dabo's anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, those concepts are
totally
flipped.
Different.
Yeah, their concept is flipped. They're like, yeah. And Cade Klubnik is the reason.
Yeah.
Letting Cade Klubnik run more, setting up design runs for him has opened things way up.
Filthy.
I do think Miami is better than them. And I think Miami is head and shoulders above the rest of the ACC. Right now, they are
legit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They are very good. And they are so good that they are playing their way to wins where the coaching decisions don't matter. Mm-hmm. Like they're not in a close game where Mario Cristobal has to make a decision.
Yeah.
He can just sit back and go, whatever.
But see, that's one of those things that could screw them in the end, because especially if you get like in the ACC championship game or you're in a playoff where it comes down to coaching, that's going to matter, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, but yeah, there are a lot. Let's talk about Mac Brown. So, also, by the way, apparently the same rule of offense, like the opposite rule of offense in the state of Iowa that was there for a couple years.
It's moved to the
reverse rule is now in North Carolina, where North Carolina, we've got to get in front of the legislature. Apparently, tackling has become illegal and punishable by fines and even jail time, because neither of the big teams in North Carolina, NC State, and UNC.
That was embarrassing for both of them.
Can play defense at all. At all. James Madison scored 70 against UNC. 70 points.
And they were like, this is
a year after they gave up 48 to another Sun Belt team in App State.
But like the week before, it was like 14-6 win against Gardner Webb. Like,
yeah.
What the hell?
So Mac Brown was very emotional after that loss and stated that he would step away in the locker room post game. Now, that caused a lot of scrambling from Bubba Cunningham on down to be like, are you serious about this? He's back at work. He's coaching the team. But Mac Brown is 73 years old.
Uh-huh.
He went back. What I can say is he improved the football program at UNC. They are better than when he got there. Mm-hmm. What you can also say is they're not as good as they had hoped that they would be.
Yeah.
And they're not contending. Like last year, people thought that they would be one of the teams that contended for the ACC title. Them and Clemson fell out of it so fast.
Yeah.
So fast that it was kind of over for them before it got started. Much like Florida State this year. But they fell out of it. So they're not contending for the conference crown. They lost an excellent quarterback, an excellent wide receiver to the NFL, along with some other players that were really good for them too. But they weren't good on defense last year either.
No.
They're worse on defense this year. They gave up 70 points to a very good James Madison team, admittedly. But you should not be letting Sun Belt teams roll into your stadium and score 70 points.
No.
Like that's not something you should do at North Carolina. But Mac Brown is going to continue. But I did just making top 5 notes. I kind of made a top 5 with coaches who are on their way out. And I kind of felt that about Mac Brown. And like this kind of solidifies my belief after this weekend that he's a guy who's not going to be there next year. And maybe, look, he has nothing to prove to anybody.
No.
He's one of the all-time greats. He's a college football Hall of Famer. He built back Texas to a national power, won a national championship, was a hair's breadth away from winning another one. And then, like all things end. Everything ends. He went back to North Carolina. He kind of pointed them in the right direction, got them right there, but maybe, just maybe, it's time for a new voice at North Carolina. And
well, things also changed since he's been there. The whole landscape shifted.
The whole landscape shifted. And so you know who I would hire? I'll give you 10 guesses.
Jamie Chadwell.
Jamie freaking Chadwell,
Jamie
North Carolina.
Chadwell.
He's perfect. Don't let the Gators get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Jamie Chadwell. You know what? Hire him right now. Tell Mac, yes, retire. We're hiring Jamie Chadwell from Liberty. We don't care what happens to them. No. Yeah, no. That's, again, perfect.
It would be
fit.
That would be a perfect fit for them.
Perfect.
And
it's a nice, Mac is I know that people want to go, sometimes you go from extremes to, tough guy coach to, nice guy coach they get somewhere in between. I think Jamie Chadwell's the perfect, if you want Mac Brown, the younger kind of Mac Brown vibe, if that's what you like around your program, there you go.
Yep.
I have as a person who has very few good things to say about the people in Burnt Orange, I do give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
And Mac Brown is one of the best human beings in coaching I've ever met. Mm-hmm. I love Mac Brown. He's always been very kind to me the 10 or so times that we've met. He's always been great to us when he's on the show. He carries himself with a class and dignity that he's above pettiness. He's not that guy.
He's a guy that
he did listen, horns down, it's kind of his fault.
Yeah,
but everybody has a sin. Let he is without sin cast the first stone.
He's like the guy that if Kurt Bowl wasn't running the AFCA, you would want Mac to come in and take it over.
Yeah.
You would. That's exactly who he is.
Yeah. He would advocate for coaches. He's very smart. Yeah. He's very good with players. But I do think that this is it.
It's got to be his last year.
In 73, he's made a bunch of money.
He's hit with some quarterbacks, but they haven't really been like that next level.
Yeah.
The Max Johnson thing, I didn't like. Unfortunately, he had that injury, but
look, your usual, like, there's two kinds of quarterbacks that are on their third school and acceptable. Mm-hmm. There's Cam Ward, who's the outlier.
Yes.
And then there's the Max Johnsons of the world, who are Max Johnson is a backup quarterback.
Absolutely is.
He's a very good backup quarterback.
Make a lot of money in the NFL probably being a backup.
Yeah, but he's not a
You're not winning a championship.
we're gonna win
with him.
go 10-2 or better with Max Johnson.
No.
That's not who he is. And it's never been who he is.
No.
Again, if you have a 3-game stretch where, your quarterback's got a soft tissue injury and needs to sit down and you've got to hopefully go 2-1, I trust Max Johnson to go 2-1 or 3-0.
Oklahoma State could have used him.
Yeah. But do I trust Max Johnson to start all 12 games and us be a playoff team if that's my team? No, I don't. I absolutely don't. So Erica Creech, referendum, defense and K-12 curriculum, North Carolina. Couldn't you just see like a second grade teacher been like, all right, okay, here's this is a cover 2 defense. In kindergarten you get cover 0. In first grade you get cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. Then you get into like dime. You get into as you get into high school, these are 3-3. This is the 3-3-5.
Yeah.
You can take AP.
You get Manny Diaz
complex
comes in and teaches you
blitz packages where you're watching stuff from like Dick LeBeau. Yeah, Erica Creech on fire today.
Oh, love it.
Absolutely. Post of the day. I would love to see that.
That would be funny.
A little North Carolina middle school.
Yeah.
Look, little Emery's got all A's and 1 C. What are you going to see in? I'm sorry to tell you, your son doesn't understand stunts or how to blow up a trap block or even the fundamentals of bump and run coverage. He's
struggling.
He's in 6th grade, but he is defensing on a 3rd grade level right now. I don't know what to say. I mean, we can put him in a remedial class. It's not going to count towards his graduation credits, but I think it's probably time. I love people who give me material.
Right. This is going to be a whole damn bit.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'll tell you, that's where this show is going to be headed one day. When we get the production dollars, half this thing's going to be sketches. I'm just telling you.
It's on.
You just let me roll with it. That's what it's going to be.
We workshopped a good one on Friday.
We did. What was the one we workshopped on Friday?
The Coach Kids.
Oh, the Coach Kid. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that happened this week. And I know that Mondays just is kind of the days that we kind of roll through things and, there's no point to the show. I will say this. Hey, Texas Tech played some defense the other day. They played some defense.
They're getting better.
Yeah, they're getting better.
A long ways to go.
Yeah, and now Arizona State, I think that was maybe about more where they are, but a 1-score game. Cam Scattaboo, 2 touchdowns though, but
that's a given.
He had 177 total yards on 24 touches. So
dude's a stud.
He's unbelievable. But if Taj Brooks, here's the other thing you need about Tech. If Taj Brooks is playing in the game, it's a different thing for Texas Tech. Guess who he didn't play against? Wazoo. And guess what happened? Not good.
They're really, Wazoo's fun. They're good.
Not good. Yeah. So they'll get there. Josh Kelly, how about 10 catches for him?
Yeah.
The other day. So yeah, I think I've gotten to most of the Big 12 and most of the national stories that matter. Is there anything I left out as we're hearing?
Harold Perkins tore his ACL. He's done for the year.
I didn't want to talk about that, Garrett. I knew it would be really sad for you.
This sucks.
The last 2 years for Harold Perkins have been kind of a house of horrors. You know what
this is reminding me of? It's starting to give me, and it's 2 totally different circumstances, but it's starting to give me the Honey Badger vibes where you saw the potential, and unfortunately they had to kick him off the team. Perk just is going to be one of those that's kind of lost of the what could have been, and hopefully he gets healthy and goes on to have a successful NFL career. But man, yeah, defense, that's 3 season-ending injuries right now for LSU. 2 of them on defense, pretty brutal. Garrett Nussmeier's balling his ass off, though. He's like 110 completions so far, the most in LSU history. The offense looks pretty good. Defense still suspect. Braden Swenson's a dude. He's definitely going to have to take up and make up for what Perk they're going to miss with Perk. But not a good year, man. Not a good year for LSU.
Yeah, not a good year at all.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something else.
I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I know. Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Hugh Freeze in the last 5 minutes here.
Bo Wallace went at him.
Bo Wallace went at him.
At him.
Because he used Bo Wallace's example and was like, hey, this guy's never done anything for me in my post-football career for him.
Surprise, surprise.
But not even Bo Wallace going at him. Had Bo Wallace never said a word, I would have felt the same way when I heard him throwing his quarterbacks all under the bus. Like,
that's
okay,
typical.
You're supposed to be the guru, bro. You're the one who came in, and you're the one who's supposed to have fixed this. You're the one who went and got Peyton Thorne and was like, hey,
we're riding with him.
We're going to ride with Peyton Thorne. Well, so Peyton Thorne's problems were all Mel Tucker's fault? Like, that was why he wasn't that good? It was Mel Tucker and their staff? Maybe he's just, that's what he is.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and look, this is the best thing about a lot of coaches and simultaneously the worst thing is they're all confident that whatever that athletic ability they saw, that they can take it, reproduce it, purify it, and run it through the veins. And that's what – but sometimes there's just something off. And he's not only throwing Peyton Thorne under the bus, he's throwing Hunter Brown under the bus, and everybody else who's been a quarterback there saying they're just not doing what I'm telling them to do. Mm-hmm. They're not. And a poor craftsman blames his tools. And this is, look, Hugh Freeze stepped into a situation at Auburn. The powers that be and the alumni there are certifiably unhinged.
Yes.
You think A&M has bad little brother syndrome to Texas? Nothing. Like, if A&M goes to therapy for their little brother syndrome to Texas, the therapist says, listen, it could always be worse. And they could say, well, why is it worse? Well, like, this fan base here is untreated, and look what's happening to them. Because theirs to Alabama. And look, the two most successful coaches in the history of college football are Bear Bryant and Nick Saban, and they both coached where? Alabama. So, yes, it is ingrained in the bones of Auburn. Look, A&M's to Texas's national championship score over all time is 4-1. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, since World War II, it's 4-0, but all time is 4-1. Correct?
Correct.
Auburn's to Alabama is like 19-1.
Or 2.
Like, whatever, yeah. Or 2, whatever. Like, it's a blowout on the scale of nothing. So keep messing around, Hugh Freeze, and blaming the players. They don't care. They bought out Brian Harsin in 18 months.
My thing, too,
You were supposed to come in and fix things and make them an SEC team again?
Not so much.
And they're no better. They have shown no potential to be any better than they were under Brian Harsin. Or under any Gus Malzahn must be laughing his ass off.
Oh, absolutely. And it kind of makes you wonder why none of the quarterbacks that you thought would want to go to Auburn even, acknowledged it. Like that, you thought that would have been a good place for Grayson McCall. You wonder why Caden Salter didn't want to follow his coach. Like, there's plenty of.
I don't anymore.
Oh, well, yeah, you know what I mean. But at the time, It was a question. It was like a legitimate question. But like, I never trusted that dude. Like, I just do not trust Hugh Freeze at all. There's no way in hell I'd let my kid go play for him, or I would want to go play for him personally.
He's well known for shirking responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Correct? This is not the first time in his life he's shirked responsibility. And as we know, Houston Nutt did not appreciate, somebody saying to him while he was still trying to get coaching jobs that all the recruiting violations happened under him. And he's like,
bruh, no.
No. No, I'm still trying to get jobs here. You don't do that. And then, oh, by the way, I have this crazy fan here who will just pour through phone records. My lawyer found this guy.
Right.
And he's going to pour through phone records. And, somebody doesn't know
have?
where burner phones are. It's almost as bad. I can't remember. Okay, what is worse? Are these on the same level? Hugh Freeze calling escorts on the university phone.
Okay.
Or Mike Price, who was the coach at Alabama but didn't get to coach a game at Alabama, paying for lap dances with the university credit card.
Ooh. Probably the phone. I don't know.
Here's the thing. You get in a bar and start
at least get some cash. Like go.
I don't know. Like they're both equally stupid.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of a place is Bosoms, Coach?
They got good wings.
The Aqua Zebra Lounge sounds like a strip club. Henry, look up this Aqua Zebra Lounge in Pensacola. It's definitely got to be a strip club, right? Mm-hmm. $700. What? That's not a team dinner. Yeah. So, all right. On the show today, we've got Ari Temkin from the Big 12 Radio Network on TuneIn Radio now. We've got Graham Coffey from Dog Central. Is it Graham Coffey? Love Graham Coffey. Georgia SEC stuff. He's got a beautiful he's sarcastic to an art form. And just really good covering Georgia and covering the SEC, covering college football. And the one, the only Phil Bennett. And I will pitch.
You got to.
Get your Phil to him. Now that we've had Phil Snow in here, here's what we do. We shoot it in the offseason. Mm-hmm. We put him right over here. We put some stuff on the vibe, and then we just let him go. And we tape and tape and tape. And it might be like 2 days worth of just us sitting there taping, and then we edit out, chop it up into usable stuff, and then we
break the internet.
Everybody's going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. And I do have to credit Matt Rule for putting that idea in my head when he said, you put him on your show and have him talk defense, you'll have every coach in the country watching it, which I'm fine with that. I'm great with that. If you put two of those guys in the room talking defense and going over things, my gosh. If we could only find two offensive coordinators, both named Phil, who are retired, then we could get your Phil offense and get your Phil defense. Anyway, we're over. We'll be back in an hour. See you then, everybody.